Hello, dear viewers. Today we step into the magical world of ancient Greek mythology. In this mystical world full of myths, gods, and heroes, there is a story we can't wait to tell you: the abduction of Persephone. Persephone, a young goddess known for her innocence and beauty, was condemned to the dark palace of the underworld by a twist of fate. In the hands of Hades, Persephone, as the daughter of the goddess Demeter, is forced to become the queen of the underworld kingdom. But this story is not just a story of separation, it is also a story of discovery and transformation. Now, in this magical story, we will discover in detail how Persephone grew stronger and began to discover her own self during the difficult times she spent underground. At the same time, on Earth, we will examine the suffering Demeter endured to find her daughter, how the world was plunged into winter, and the complex negotiations between the gods. Are you ready? Let's dive into the mysterious world of ancient Greek mythology and unravel the mystery of Persephone's abduction. In Demeter's flower-filled meadow, the young goddess Persephone, known for her beauty, was playing joyfully. However, these tranquil moments took a tragic turn when she fell into the eyes of Hades, the god of the underworld. Hades, the dark and mysterious ruler of the underworld, was wandering the earth one day when he noticed Persephone. The beauty and innocence of the young goddess touched Hades' heart in a profound way. Suddenly, descending into the underworld, Hades decided to kidnap Persephone and make her queen in his kingdom. This momentary abduction would change Persephone's life forever, and at the same time plunge her mother Demeter into deep grief. Descending from Mount Olympus, Demeter would launch a worldwide search for her daughter. However, this event would become more than just a story of divine love. It would become a mythological legend that would affect the cycle of seasons and nature. Persephone was condemned to live as a queen in the dark palace of the underworld, under the gray sky, in the shadow of Hades' throne. This place of cold stones, empty corridors, and dancing shadows symbolized for her a hopeless imprisonment, far from the warm rays of the sun. As the young goddess found herself in this cold and dark atmosphere, she was trying to discover her inner strength and endurance. The harsh conditions were the first obstacle Persephone faced as she struggled to come to terms with her queenship. Over time, the days spent within the cold stone walls gave her resilience, while the determination to overcome these harsh conditions grew deep within her heart. However, during her time underground, her longings intoxicated her like a ghost. The warm rays of the sun, the scent of colorful flowers, the warm embrace of her mother. These were only a fraction of Persephone's longings, and when she thought of them, a bitterness welled up inside her. Meanwhile, on Earth, when Demeter realized that her daughter was missing, she scattered to the four corners of the earth, searching for her daughter around every corner. The goddess of agriculture tried to bear the pain that came with her daughter's disappearance, but with every step she took, the pallor of the earth and the dull color of the plants became a sign of that pain. As Demeter's eyes traveled over the once vibrant earth, she was moved to tears as she saw the land, now pale and dry. This sadness caused her to lose her power and control, and the grief that spread throughout the world caused the seasons to pause. As the plants began to wither and the soil began to dry out, winter began to set in across the world. Demeter's grief shook the balance of nature, causing these seasons to pause. As the cold of winter and bar trees enveloped the upper part of the world, the earth, in a sense, sank into its own darkness. Demeter's deep sorrow and the pallor of nature signaled a crisis in the eyes of the gods. Summoned to Mount Olympus for a meeting, the gods came together to address the current situation and protect life on Earth. At the meeting on Mount Olympus, Zeus discussed Demeter's pain and the world's depression and realized the need to find a solution immediately. In addition to Queen Hera, Ares, the god of war, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and other important gods sought a solution. Learning that Persephone, Demeter's daughter, was in the underworld and that Hades had no intention of letting her go, the gods were faced with despair. At that moment, Zeus's might and leadership came into play. He felt responsible for finding a solution to preserve the balance of life on Earth. The gods, led by Zeus, began to consider different proposals to get Hades to let Persephone go and to calm Demeter. However, the stubborn attitude of Hades and the resistance of the king of the underworld complicated matters. In an effort to strike a balance between diplomacy and the use of force, Zeus wanted to prevent strife between the gods and ensure the restoration of nature. These negotiations between the gods constituted one of the most important and complex moments in ancient Greek mythology. As each god and goddess sought to protect their own interests, they also felt compelled to find a way to secure the continuation of life on Earth. During her days in the dark palace of the underworld, Persephone felt like a helpless prisoner at first, but over time she began to fill with inner strength. Among the cold stones, in the corridors where shadows danced, the desire to defy the harsh conditions began to blossom in the dark atmosphere that surrounded the young goddess. As she began to grasp the responsibilities of being queen of the underworld, Persephone's inner strength began to awaken. In time, her steps on the cold stones symbolized her strength and determination. As she adapted to the complex hierarchy of the underworld, Persephone's inner evolution turned into taking important steps towards becoming the queen of the dark world. Persephone's transformation was not limited to discovering her own inner strength. At the same time, her understanding of the dynamics of the underworld and her responsibility to fulfill her duties equipped her with a deeper wisdom. As Persephone unleashed her potential even in these harsh conditions, she grew like a flower within the walls of the dark palace and became instrumental in the blossoming of life, even in a decaying world. Hades, as the ruler of the underworld, was watching Persephone's transformation with cold-blooded attention. The moment he realized her power, he felt confusion and conflict against this change. For Persephone's empowerment was not only shaking the underworld, but also Hades' control over it. However, Hades, as king of the kingdom of darkness, showed no intention of letting Persephone go. He was unwilling to let her escape from the underworld, for Persephone had become not only the queen of the dark world, but also a power that sat on the throne of his heart. Persephone's rise to power and ascension as queen of the underworld is one of the most striking stories of ancient Greek mythology, emphasizing female power and raising the question of how Hades would cope with this evolution. While this was happening, Demeter's tears caused the plants on the earth to wither and winter to come. Zeus gathered the gods on Mount Olympus, and when he learned that Persephone had eaten 7 pomegranate seeds during her stay in the underworld, he decided to make a deal to resolve the situation. Zeus decided to meet with Hades to find a compromise between the gods. At the meeting, despite Hades' resistance, an agreement was reached where Persephone would spend half a year underground and the other half on Earth. This was a solution to explain the cycle of the seasons and restore the balance of nature. Persephone had gained inner strength during her difficult time underground, but she had to return to a world filled with the longings of her mother Demeter and the effects of winter. When she returned to Earth, she embraced her mother, but she also stepped into her new responsibilities as queen of the underworld. The cycle of the seasons began. In the half of the year Persephone was underground, the cold effects of winter were felt, while in the other half of the year she was on Earth, the spring revival and the greening of plants took place. This arrangement allowed Hades, the ruler of the underworld, to maintain his control, much to the delight of her mother Demeter. Persephone emerged from this experience as an empowered and stabilized goddess. Her ability to rule the earth and the underworld made her one of the most important figures in ancient Greek mythology. The story became not only a tale of separation and abduction, but also a mystical legend of transformation and the process of finding balance. Persephone's abduction and its aftermath is remembered as an epic that enriches mythology and contains deep meaning about the changes in human life. From the depths of ancient Greek mythology to the present day, this epic story tells of Persephone's journey from the dark palace to the beauties of nature. You were with us on this magical journey. If you want to travel more with us in this mystical world and be informed about our mythology-filled content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts on this special topic in the comments. Your comments enrich these mythological stories even more. We hope to meet you again in the days full of mythology. We will be happy to welcome you on our channel. Thank you, and we wish to continue our journey into ancient and mysterious worlds together.